Everyone in the lobby ignored her, except one janitor, whose simple greeting would change everything. If this story touched your heart, like, share, and comment where you're watching from. Your support helps us keep spreading hope. It was early morning at Orion Crest Tower. The lobby shimmered under the city's first light, full of hurried footsteps and urgent voices. Executives moved like clockwork, eyes fixed on screens, heels clicking against marble floors. Standing near the revolving doors was Fang Mei, a Chinese billionaire visiting incognito. Today she wasn't a CEO, a headline, or a symbol of wealth, just another person in a sea of rushing strangers. Her coat was simple, her shoes plain, and her presence deliberately quiet. Pushing a worn cleaning cart across the lobby was Arthur Bellamy, the night shift janitor. Arthur, in his late 40s, had silver streaking his hair, laugh lines etched deep into his face, and a warm, gentle demeanor. He had a habit of noticing things others didn't, and this morning he noticed Fang immediately. Executives passed, barely glancing at Fang. Phones beeped, paper shuffled, and no one acknowledged her presence. She stood patiently, feeling the familiar weight of invisibility. Then Arthur walked up. "Good morning," he said warmly. "Welcome to Orion Crest. Can I help you?" Fang blinked, startled, not by the words, but by their sincerity. Here was someone who saw her, not as a billionaire, but as a person. "Thank you," Fang said softly. "I appreciate that." Arthur smiled. Everyone deserves a warm welcome. Something in Fang's chest shifted. She realized that genuine kindness could exist anywhere, even in a building full of power and prestige. As they spoke, executives hurried past, indifferent. One nearly bumped into her, muttering a brief apology without looking up, but Arthur remained calm, guiding people politely and humming a quiet tune, seeing what others failed to notice. Moments later, Elena Whitcroft, the CEO of Orion Crest, emerged from the elevator. Her eyes widened instantly. "Miss Fang?" she stammered, regaining composure. "Yes," Fang replied. "I came early to see things for myself." The lobby froze. A billionaire, overlooked, standing right in front of them, and the only person who treated her like a human being was a janitor. Elena scrambled with apologies and assistance, but Fang raised a hand. "Please wait," she said gently. "Before anything else, I want to thank someone." Her gaze returned to Arthur. "You greeted me when no one else did. You treated me with kindness without knowing who I was. That means more than you know." Arthur, taken aback, stammered, I just did my job." "No," Fang said firmly. "You reminded me of what truly matters. Respect, empathy, human connection. Not wealth, not titles. Just seeing people for who they are." The lobby went silent. Executives shifted uncomfortably, suddenly aware of how they had ignored not only Fang but Arthur, and countless others like him in the weeks that followed. Fang didn't just consider acquiring Orion Crest. She began shaping its culture. Arthur was invited to meetings, policies were reviewed, break rooms improved, and employees treated with dignity at every level. Arthur didn't become wealthy or famous. He remained a janitor by choice, preferring his quiet dignity over attention, yet respect followed him everywhere he went. Smiles came easier, greetings became genuine, and the smallest acts of recognition rippled through the company. Weeks later, as Fang prepared to return to Shanghai, she found Arthur in the lobby. "Good morning," he said, smiling. "Off to somewhere important?" Fang chuckled. "I already arrived." They shook hands, not as Billionaire and Janitor, but as two people who understood a rare truth, that kindness costs nothing, that dignity should never depend on status, and that sometimes the smallest greeting can change everything. As Fang walked toward the revolving doors, executives watched silently, their minds quietly transformed. And Arthur, pushing his cart through the marble floors, hummed his tune, knowing that today he had done something extraordinary, because sometimes the person who seems invisible teaches the world the most important lesson.